Jesus said to count the cost. And he used a couple of illustrations. One, he said, no man go to build and not count the cost of the material and labor and all of that, lest while he's halfway through, he run out of funds, run out of material, run out of resources, and he's ashamed because the building is just left hanging. Jesus said the same thing. No one go to war with 10,000 soldiers against somebody with 200,000. Lest once he gets to the battle and things get hot, he surrenders and begs for peace. Jesus said, count the cost. You have to count the cost of what it takes to follow Jesus. And unfortunately, most people don't. Most people do not count the cost. Most people don't examine the Christian life, don't examine the teaching of Jesus Christ. Most people don't read the Bible through and get a good picture of what we're being called to. Yeah, most people don't count the cost. And perhaps most significantly, most people don't count the cost before they get into marriage. That's really where I really wanted to take this. That one of the most critical, the most common reason for the failure of marriages is because people don't count the cost. Don't count the cost. They don't get marriage counseling. They have no idea of what they're getting into. All they know is, we quote unquote, we love each other. And we're highly affectionate towards each other. Think about it. Most of you, have been through a divorce like myself, and, now you look back in retrospect and you can see some things. Yeah, never counted the cost. Never sat down with someone who's been there, done that, for them to give us some advice to help prepare us for that journey ahead. Instead we just wing it. Yeah, we go by our feelings and we feel good about each other, and our morality says that, well, the next thing to do is just get married. We think about, sex outside of marriage is wrong, and so but we overlook the most important thing. We don't count the cost. Because it's so easy to get into. Marriage, like trouble, is so easy to get into. You don't even have to spend a whole bunch of money. You just go down to the JP and get the license, pay, small fee, and get the JP to officiate, and bam, we're done. You don't have to have no ring, don't have no fancy dresses and all that other stuff. Like trouble, marriage is easy to get into. We never count the cost, though. Meaning, we have to look at the big picture of marriage. We have to get past the emotional satisfaction. We have to get past that. And young couple, getting into their first marriage, they have no idea of some of the issues that will come up. They don't count the cost. When we're going window shopping, we know we're going window shopping. We already know we ain't got no money, and that's why we've decided that, window shopping is going to be. Marriage is not like window shopping. You know, it's more like you just got a new job and you need some uniforms and some safety shoes and some stuff like that. You know, you know you have to get your pennies together and come up with, you know, there's a cost to marriage. Yes, it requires some blood, sweat, tears, money, your time, your means. Yeah, it's a God ordained thing, and anything having to do with God, you just can't jump into it. You have to count the cost. Oh, you have to count the cost. You have to find out what it takes. You know, what am I going, you know, what am I going to have to give? What am I going to have to change? Yeah. A year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years, what do I what should I expect? That's why marriages are failing, because people are going into it with this Hollywood idea. Yes, people are getting into marriages with their selfish idea, with their immaturity, with their ignorance of life and living and all of that. People are getting into marriages unprepared to be parents, and that's a whole nother set of troubles right there. Because people don't count the cost. Seems to me like when you go to get a marriage license, that should be one of the conditions of it. You know, where did you go to marriage counsel? We want to see a letter. We want to, here's a form that, you know, your marriage counsel got to fill out before we issue a license. We want to make sure that you've taken this course on marriage before we issue you a license. There's a cost to it. And too many people, when they find out how much it's gonna cost, they quit and run. When they find out that you can't be selfish in marriage, that you can't keep score in a marriage. Yeah, they find out that it's the devil's lie, that it's a 50-50. There's no numbers in marriage. Sometimes you got to give 150%. The Bible said two walk together so that if one falls, then the other is there to lift them up. See, that's why you can't put a number on it. See, so many marriages fail because people, after a while, they're looking and they're thinking that, oh, I'm giving too much this marriage. You see, in a God ordained marriage, it's not equal. We're not equal. We're complementary. Each person in the marriage is strong where the other is weak, and so they bring different skill set to the marriage table, which makes it perfect. It balances. We need a balance. We need to be complementary. Look, even in the human body, it's not perfect if you have two left hands or two right foot. Your left hand and your right hand is complementary. Got to count the cost. Yeah. I see a lot of young folks running around. They want to buy, Beamer and Benz, and not counting the cost of repairs and all of that until the first time it breaks down, and the car just sit there because they cannot afford to fix it. You got to count the cost before you make that decision. There's a cost to marriage. Too many selfish people getting together with other selfish people. And then in the midst of it all, children are born, and children, the children bear the brunt. People in their unwise decisions. You've got to count the cost. Got to count, what is it going to take? What is it going to require? See, when you get into marriage from God's perspective, it's till death do you part. I know when Jesus said that to the apostle, and Peter hollered out, if that's so, then it's good not to be married. Yeah, it's good not to be stuck to this person. But no, it's not good not to be stuck, because the Bible does say whoever finds a wife finds a good thing. But we must, because we're counting the cost. When you go to buy a new car, and you're gonna finance it, you have to look around, and you got to figure out how you're gonna pay for it. How you gonna make that car payment? That's counting the cost. We must count the cost. Count the cost of what it takes for marriage and what it takes to follow Jesus. Bless up.